stop thinking that being taught that everyone's the same, be it race or ethnicity, or be it about the standards. If you belong to a high class family or middle class, everyone's the same, because the quote by Jackson, it says, never look down on anybody unless you're helping them, because it means that I personally think it's like we are all beggars in front of God, because we're always like asking for something or wanting something. So be it about education, like if you're smart and someone's in need or someone's weak in studies, it cannot be like, you cannot be having attitude about like, I'm smart and I'm not gonna help the person, or be bragging about something that the person doesn't know. So it's like, you cannot say anything about somebody if you're helping that person, or you cannot be like, I'm smart, so I'm just not gonna help that person. So it's like, if you cannot help anybody, then don't say anything about it. Or if you want to help, that's only when you speak up something about that person or whatever it might be. Same as for the standards or the society we live in, because some people, it would be like some students or in person, like if they have more money, they don't talk to people who are in need or who are like a middle class family or somewhere. Because I was brought up in India, as everyone knows, but over there it's like some people live in cities versus there's urban areas or villages. I used to live in a city, but then I never was offended, or I wasn't like, I'm not gonna go to a village or anything, because I think if I am able to eat and I have a shelter under my head and my family's covered, I'm like not wanting anything more and I'm satisfied with what I have. But versus I don't even mind helping people who are like in need, because not everyone is designed, we are not all the same, we all have our own lifestyles, and we shouldn't be complaining about it, because if you are weak in one point, then you probably have something else as your strength, because if you're good in studies, then you're probably weak in the social activities, versus if you have some other talent, then you might be weak in the studies. So it's like, some people who have more talent in one specific area shouldn't be looking down onto other person who don't know that stuff. So it's like if you cannot help anyone, don't look down at them. So concluding that if you cannot help someone, don't speak or blame someone or look down at that person.
All right, the personal background was fine as the attention device. There's a transition to the topic, which is okay. I wasn't quite sure what your purpose statement was, what it was that you were trying to say. I know it's generally about helping other people and not looking down on them. But there's not a very strong focus on what it is you're going to say. You just immediately start talking about those kinds of things. I didn't get a particular organizational structure. Some of the examples are interesting, but they don't develop as much as they could. I did appreciate the references to your living in India, and I think you could maybe draw us a little bit of a picture with some of the things that you're talking about. There are a lot of things that just you make a comment and I don't know why. Like I said, people might have religious objections, or they might not go to a particular village. And I'm going, well, why? What is different? How do they look down on those folks? How can you function in that situation? I have no context for seeing this in my head, and you want to draw us the picture so that we have a referent and can kind of understand the point that you're making, and I don't really get that. I think that you're relatively fluent. You speak regularly. What you do need to do is have a little bit of variety, though, in your voice. Your range is kind of narrow, so one of the things that you can do, if you can't change the range of your voice, is to change the timing. So slow down a little bit to emphasize particular points, maybe talk a little bit faster, or maybe change the volume of your voice also, because the volume can adjust some of those things. So even if your tone is kind of in the same area, your range is narrow, if you change the volume and the speed, that'll give it a little bit more variety in your voice, and I think that would help a bit. Your eye contact's a little inconsistent. Sometimes you're looking at us, but very often it's kind of you're looking through us, so I can see you're looking back into your own head thinking about, this is what I'm thinking about, what am I going to say next, instead of looking at it's kind of internalized. You're thinking to yourself. You do have some gestures that are indicators that I think work pretty well, and I think your body's under pretty solid control while you're speaking. You do a pretty good job of that. Maybe occasionally you could step forward to emphasize a point, maybe do the transition thing that we talked about also. All right, thank you.